Hello everyone and welcome back to Premature Speculation. This is Desron and I'm here today with Sanis, Trice and IKRinoP, and we're getting to the final color, which is gonna be red for the 3-1 set. So let's start off with Attendant of Will, which is the red 1 drops from the same cycle that all the other colors got, and it's a 1 drop 1/1, and when you have 5 or more cards in your graveyard it gets Defiance 1, and if there are 10 cards in your graveyard you increase AP of target creature ally controls by 2.
I think it's a really good drop.
It's probably the best one of the cycle.
Absolutely. Well, I think white's very good. But
White is very good.
This one is just very, very good in red.
I'm not sure if it gives 2 permanent attack, because if it gives 2 permanent attack, it's so good.
I imagine it'll just be till the end of turn. But I think even that aside, it's still really good.
The thing is, this has the same thing as white, where they have to kill it in order to deal with it, not you have to kill it in order to make it useful, activate it, so to speak.
It's basically a 2-1 if you get activated.
Also late game, Defiance 1 on the 1 drop is so difficult to get past for a lot of decks.
Yeah, because like with archers and stuff, you think, oh, I can deal with it with a 2 drop or a 1 drop. With this, you have to deal damage to it or use a 1 drop.
Yeah, and like, there are a surprising number of 1 toughness creatures still running around, especially after fights, and he just cleans house. I mean, I've lost games to the 1 drop that you pay 2 mana to give it Defiance 1. And this one also only takes 5 cards in your graveyard to activate, which is a ridiculous small number.
I played one this morning, the Red Rush, using this. And being blue, I normally just spam defense until they run out of cards, but when you drop this guy, I had to physically actually deal with it because it was causing so much trouble.
Yeah.
Because he could attack other things and then leave things on 1 and then just finish off with this, and it was difficult.
Well, that's why I'm going to use 4 dual casting now.
Yeah, like the thing is, the different, I believe white one activates at 7 or 6?
7, yeah.
7. And the difference between 7 cards in your graveyard and 5 is so big. You can realistically have 5 cards in your graveyard by turn 6 or 7.
Well, with a rush deck you could have even sooner.
Even sooner, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But even in a control deck, like the red control deck, you can have this by turn 6 or 7, you're pretty much guaranteed to play this with Defiance. And also, the second effect is strong enough where you won't work to get it. And if you have 10 cards in your graveyard and this guy in play, they have to kill it or they're gonna get destroyed.
Yep.
Yes, it's one of the most powerful effects, secondary effects from all the attendants.
Yeah, I mean the black one is arguably more powerful, but the black one, again, it's a reactive effect for the black one. They have to have something you want to increase the cost by 3, and the first effect still sucks.
Yeah, whereas this, you could just do it on its own. You know, you could have just this in play, and you could make it a 3-1 for that turn.
It doesn't have to be him, any other creature.
Yeah, but I mean, for the other one, you're playing it if they've got an item. This, you can play it regardless of whether you've got other creatures or if they've got an item or anything.
Yep. It basically becomes like a Doom Hound.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, like, the number of games where you actually are gonna have this alive with 10 cards in graveyard is actually pretty small, but it forces your opponent to deal with it or suffer the consequences. Kind of like Doomhound does. Like, you don't flip it every game, but if it's turn 4 and you have it in play, your opponent has to usually sacrifice their whole turn just to deal with it, or it will flip. And this is the same spot. Moving on to a Schemer of Kalos. It's a 2 mana 1/1 creature. It's a human, so Broken Horse works with it.
Yeah, and he looks like Sean Bean as well, which is always good.
Yeah, he has loyalty 2, which you know means that it's gonna be ridiculous, and it doesn't fail to deliver. You draw one card at the beginning of your turn, and you deal 1 damage to your hero.
I really like how they're pushing the kill yourself mechanic on Aspire.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
It's a very good skill.
Yeah. While on the first glance you might think, oh, 2 mana 1/1. The thing is, it's a 2 mana 1/1 that they have to deal with instantly. Like,
Yep.
one turn, and if they deal with it, they're already behind. If they use dual casting, they're just breaking even. If they don't deal with it in 3 turns, they're pretty much out of the game, card advantage wise.
Because you do not want Red Rush to be having cards in their hand.
Yes.
Or like any red deck. Doesn't have to be Rush, could be Control. Like any deck that draws 3 cards, there's a reason that red decks play the draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. And this is, if it survives 1 turn, that's what this is, basically. It's draw 2 cards, draw a card, lose 1 life, with a random door can play, and in 2 turns it's a free, what was it? I forget what the
Ambition of Torsten.
Yeah, it's a free ambition of Torsten, or if they don't deal with it in 2 turns.
Yeah, he's just very good. Very, very
Also,
good.
compared to the item he's based on, he's ridiculously easy to get rid of.
So much powerful, much more powerful, yes.
Like, you can always kill off a 1/1, and even if somehow you can't, you can always just sacrifice him if you absolutely have to.
Yeah, you can just graveyard him yourself if needed.
Yes, not pay 8 resources and then die opponent.
I think, seeing as we're going down the lines of let's give out really powerful combos, if you play him with any of the red shields, then you also avoid doing damage to yourself.
Yep.
If you activate the shield prior to him dealing damage to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can because it's at the beginning of your turn, it depends when that is, but if you can, then you stop yourself getting damaged.
I don't believe you have an opening to do it. It happens after the end of his turn, before you draw a card. I don't believe there is an opening for you to play if you activate a shield. But I mean, if you have a shield, you can usually put it to good use anyways.
Yeah.
That's quite a good card.
I'm actually happy it has loyalty too, or it would go into every white deck.
Every deck, yeah.
Yes.
Every white deck, specifically. Oh, I didn't draw Mercy. I guess I just have this guy in play for a couple of turns, which basically does the same thing as Mercy.
Yeah.
This is the red Mercy.
Mercy
Except white would then just play a healer.
Yeah.
Mercy already used a combination of an Ace Taker and the Tomb of Late King, so they're already playing this effect. Just a bit more expensive.
Yep. Like, this is comparable to Mercy for red. I mean, it's much easier to deal with, but if you don't deal with it, you're gonna lose. Okay, moving on to the next guy. It's a 3 mana 3/2 with Burial 1 and Revenger 1. And it has a 1 mana ability of banish top 2 cards of target opponent's graveyard. So the question obviously is gonna be, do you play this over the 2/2 with Attacker 2? Because
No.
The more important thing is, why does this card that is already good have a better effect than the blue rare?
I don't know, but
Yeah, the blue rares aren't good. We'll leave it at that, I think.
yeah, well,
But I don't think you'd play this over the 3 mana 2/2 Attacker 2, because if you have this in a red deck, it's because you want to play him in attack. And if you want to play him in attack, he's going to be a 4/2 late game, 3/2 early game.
yeah,
You're never going to use the ability.
Well, if graveyard effects ever become relevant, this is going to be so much better, because you're paying 1 instead of paying 2 to banish 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard. The blue rare that does only that asks you to pay 2 to do the same effect.
yeah.
So it's
Also,
really going to be powerful.
this have Burial 1, which is by itself not very powerful, but if you're looking for that effect, it adds up quickly.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for just a straight standard red rush or red attacking deck, play the other one.
Well,
If you're
the
building
thing
a deck based
is,
around, if you're
they
building a
might
deck
play
based around
this
Burial-
in addition to that. I mean,
Well,
how
yes,
many 3
why not?
drops they're playing? they might play this as the guy number, whatever, 5
Yeah,
and
the
6.
fifth one,
Probably,
sixth
they
I
probably
think
don't.
I think like the other versions of this 3-mana 3/2 Revenger, it's decent enough. It's not bad. It's not awful. It's a possibility for each color to play their own one.
Yeah, but yeah, it's funny that the blue one basically straight up wars 3 mana 4/2 is a drawback, while this is a 3 mana 4/2 is a positive ability. I mean, 10 cards in your graveyard is not trivial, but it's not that. It's not like you're jumping through any extra hoops to get it.
Yeah. Well, the blue one has to be worse because it's blue. I think that's how developers have decided this game needs to work.
Fair enough. Moving on, we have the 4 mana 1/3 Visveiler and a wall of text. Whenever this creature attacks and battles a creature or hero, decrease AP
Increase
the AP of this creature by 1 before battle until end of turn. When this creature is set into a creature zone, while the number of creatures on your creature zone is less than the number of creatures on any other player's creature zone, give Rusher 1 to the Crusher 1. Give Rusher to this creature.
First of all, they really need to streamline their texts.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I don't want to read a wall of
It's
text.
quite a lot of text for not as much of an effect.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
so
basically it's a 2/3 when attacking.
it's a
and valor.
2/3 on the first attack, then 3/3 on the second hit. It has Veiler.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes, it's quite a good
yeah,
card.
that's true.
This is a very strong card. I can see it played in other decks. Like,
Yeah.
I would not mind playing this in black as a black 4-drop. I mean,
Yes, basically removal for 2/1 attack creatures.
like a
Yeah.
3 toughness rusher early game that swings first for 2 then for 3 is gonna gain you so much value.
Technically, if
Absolutely.
you're looking at it, you're basically looking at a dual casting that deals 3 damage, then 2 damage, then maybe survives.
Probably not, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good 4-drop basically.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
So, and the fact that it gains rusher is just so brutal.
Yeah.
as I said, it's exactly like dual casting, but with more damage and
Yeah.
blockable, of course.
Yeah, I mean like it gives you the same value. Where it's usually, I mean, most of the time it's probably gonna take out the blocker and then take out the primary target.
Yeah.
Also black, usually you're behind on the number of creatures early game. And I guess so is red. But yeah, this
Yeah,
guy's
red
gonna
item deck
win
would be able to
games.
make nice use of that.
This is gonna win games. It's just so swingy, even late game. Like you find a 2 power creature that you can attack, and then you attack a 3 power creature and finish it off, or a 3 toughness creature. Like first I was like 1/3 Veiler, and then I actually read the whole wall of text. I'm not sure they needed to give this rusher. Like if I'm being perfectly honest.
It's been so bad for cost.
Hmm?
If he didn't have Russia, it would have been so bad for so much cost. It actually does cost a lot considering it's a 1/3.
I don't know. I mean, even without Russia, it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And it's a human,
Yeah.
which is nice in red. And I think because it's 4, there's the spell which can give it Russia anyway if necessary.
Yep.
So I think it's just a nice option to have in
Like
most colors.
without rusher, it would be something where you played in a kind of a combo-ish situation. Like you give it rusher, but this is just building the combo for you into one card.
This is basically red control decks dual casting because it will act very often exactly like dual casting
Yeah.
does unless opponent has a 3 attack defender.
It-
And in control decks you usually have 1 weapon and at most 1 ally on the field, not
Yeah.
more.
This is gonna make green decks cry. That's all I have to say.
Say
Oh,
kill your-
look.
Yeah.
kill
Oh look,
your-
all those free tokens you got. How about I kill them all?
Well, actually, Valor gets you ready to only once per turn. You don't get to kill all their tokens.
I get 2 kill
get
2
kill
per
2
turn.
a turn, which is nice.
Yes, it's still. But
Yeah. Okay.
And then their CE is a flag bearer.
Of Fury
It's-
now.
it's so ugly.
Yes.
Why the hell does it look like an undead
I don't
or
know.
an orc?
I don't know. But yes, moving on. I don't even want to look at that. We
Knight of
have
Revenge.
5 mana, 4/3 Knight of Revenge. And when this creature is in the creature zone, increase AP of this creature by X, where X is equal to the number of cards in your graveyard of the same name as this creature. And it has the same problem we had when we were talking about the green one. Like a 5 mana 4/3 is okay, a 5 mana 5/3 is not much better, a 5 mana 6/3 is identical to a 5 mana 5/3.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
means that you're going to have to be playing this over
Yeah,
the 3/4 hero ward amazing thing.
Yes, it's not
And
exactly good.
Just so,
yeah, considering
red has got
the
some nice
quality
5
of
drops, so.
5 drops it has. I
It
mean,
is
this
a
is
common,
this is gonna be a budget option.
yes.
This since it's a common, but that's about it. I don't expect this to see actual play unless someone develops some kind of a weird combo with it.
I think the basic Elvish Warrior is better than that. 5 mana 4/3 Valor.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
Yeah.
It's quite ironical that it's called Knight of Revenge and doesn't have the Revenger mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think that if you took the K off and it was Knight of Revenge as in nighttime, then it would be quite a nice name for a black card.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Echo of Fury. This card humiliated me earlier today when I was doing a deck talk, since for some reason I thought
This
it
deck is so
applied
much
to
better
all
because-
all colors, not just Aspire creatures. So it's a 1 mana burst with loyalty 1 and it has increased AP of target Aspire creature ally controls by 1, then increase AP of that creature by X until end of turn, where X is equal to the number of cards in your graveyard of the same name with this card. And like they keep on changing the wording out. Sometimes it's the same name as this card, sometimes it's the same name as this magic, sometimes it's like another phrase that they use. Very inconsistent.
It doesn't need loyalty, for starters.
Mm?
It
Yeah,
doesn't need loyalty, it's got implied loyalty.
yeah.
Because it only works on
It
red
has
stuff
super
anyway.
loyalty.
Yeah.
I really like it how they put loyalty on cards that wouldn't be useful in other decks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
It's-
a blue
it-
one that's
it
got
j- yeah,
super
it just
loyalty
adds that.
and loyalty, and you wouldn't use it in any other color or blue, which
Well,
is silly.
Yeah.
You could use it actually in a blue deck because blue has so bad allies and use red allies. And I presume that's why they deploy.
But yeah,
But
I
yeah.
can't see people using this over battle training.
I don't know.
It's
The
so
thing-
much better for red.
Yeah, I think this is better than battle training actually.
One permanent attack and then give it X. It doesn't say until the end of turn the first
Yeah.
attack.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
So
I thought it was
first-
all. Yeah, I thought it was all. That's my
Oh.
mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's permanent. You gain one. It's kind of like the inverse of black one, where you gain
Yeah.
one. So basically, when he plays this, you spend 2 mana to counter it with the black one.
Yeah, that's the problem. The black one costs two times as much as
Yeah.
this.
And it's
This
a reactive
costs-
card, while this is a proactive card. And you always want to be proactive, not reactive. But moving on. The thing is, early game, usually red wants to just pump their guys up to kill something, and since their guys naturally have 2 attack, pumping it by 1 is usually enough to kill it off. And late game, they get a chance to swing for like 3-4 extra damage of each Echo of the Fury.
Yes, it's so much better than the normal plus 2 attack. But I
Yeah,
would
but I-
play both of them actually.
Probably.
Yes, I've got one, and I've just put it into my red rush deck because I've noticed that it gives permanent attack. So there we go.
Yep.
Well, another thing I want to mention, if this wouldn't have super loyalty, it would be so good late game on an Exalted Angel.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we were talking about. I was doing a Force of Survival combo deck talk, and I said that now that you got a new toy for the Exalted Angel, and yeah, I was wrong, unfortunately, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's a good card.
And then we have Elite Training, and I'm actually split on this card. It's increase AP of target creature ally controls by 1, and then you draw 1 card for 2 mana, and it's also a burst.
It's actually interesting.
It's an interesting card. Like, on the one hand, red wants cards so badly that tucking draw 1 onto a rush card makes it a lot better. On the other hand, you're still paying 2 mana for 1
Yeah, that's
AP.
the problem. 2 mana is too much.
Like,
it's basically like the blue card that deals 1 damage to your opponent's hero, but you have to attach it to an ally to do the damage.
Yep.
But the trade-off is that increasing the AP of a creature you control by 1 is actually really good for red. Like, you've noticed most of the time when you block with your guys, they survive at 1 HP.
Yes, and then they use this and you die. Your guy dies.
Yeah. Because their guys are not gonna survive combat one way or another.
Yeah,
that's
they
a
must
given.
have 1 or 2 HP.
So, like, this... Like, my first instinct was cost too much, but like, the more I think about it, red has such a big thing running out of cards that if they can afford to take the time to cast this is gonna be really good. But I'm not sure that they can afford to spend 2 mana playing this rather than dropping another creature. That's...
I would agree.
You're going to play 2 of these for late game.
Yeah. Like, it's something where the red wants the effect, but I don't think they can afford to do it.
Yeah, not enough spaces in the deck.
Yeah, and then we move to the red uncommon, the trap, which is if a creature opponent controls is level 3 to 6 is set in creature zone, turn level of that creature to 2. I mean, there are a lot of cards that do this in red, and unfortunately there are not enough cards that take advantage of this. Oh, and it has a 1 mana activation, turn level of target creature opponent controls is level 5 or less to 2. But basically,
I mean, it's good in a deck that involves around making things small enough for you to deal with.
But the thing is, here, I can see white playing this, since it hits 6 mana creatures, so you can blow Judgment them with only 2 cards in hand.
Oh my god.
Well, only if they play a level 6. If they play something else before the level 6,
yeah,
then.
But
yeah,
I can see this maybe because that's the white's only weakness. They can't really deal with level 6 creatures. And
I think the main focus of this card is so that it can combo with the horrible looking flag bearer and stuff like shield charge and things like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. There are a lot of good cards that do this effect, but there are no good cards that actually use it, or not enough good cards where you would want to go out with your...
enough of good cards. The problem is that Flagbearer isn't one of the most played cards at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my Red Rush makes use of some Messengers of Richard, turning things to level 2. And if I get some of these, I will be using them. But it's sort of, as you say, a niche kind of thing. It's not something that you'd be using in every deck.
Yep.
Well, just imagine this. It turns your shield charge into blow of judgment, basically, that hits level 6.
But it's...
or less.
Yeah, but you have to... the thing is, you have to activate it. They have to have the guy in play. You play this trap, you instantly activate it, and then you shield charge. Like, this trap is gonna get incidentally triggered so often that you can't just... It's not something that you play turn 1 and just let it be.
No, obviously not. You have to play this smart. You play it when you're expecting your opponent to drop his 6 drop or something else very important.
Yeah, which is not something you can actually predict realistically. Most of the time I can see... I'm guessing that this is gonna see play where your opponent plays a 5 drop and you, in response, you turn it to 2 for 2 mana.
Or if you've got enough stuff on your attack zone that you don't want them to play a defender, then and you've got a shield charge at hand, play this. Then no matter what they play, you kill that defender.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it has some niche combos, but not enough to
The
actually...
problem is that each and every time you use it, you're going to 2-for-1 yourself.
Yeah.
Even if it's resource
Yeah.
efficient.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yep.
At least the 1-1 guy that turns creatures to level 2, you have a 1-1 body with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, we have Kalos Arena, which is a 2-mana item accessory, and for 3 mana has deal X damage to target creature opponent controls, where X is AP of target active creature ally controls with level 5 or less. And then basically you have the 2 creatures fight each other, and then deal Y damage to that creature ally controls, where Y is the AP of the creature opponent controls. And after they fight, the skill cost of this item goes up by 1. It's extremely powerful.
My Predator
Yeah.
is to love this.
First of all, green skill word, I mean, that's the first thing everyone is gonna think of when they see it, and they're not gonna be wrong. I mean, you stick this into green skill word and you just eating.
Late game it's going to be so good. My
Yeah.
deck really had a problem with removing stuff late game because I don't draw as much cards as I draw with blue deck. But
Yeah,
putting this on the field, if it doesn't get answered, I'm just going to kill a creature each
Yeah.
turn.
the thing is,
How much money?
like, you're willing to activate maybe 4 times, 3 times before the cost gets too big.
And
You're
every-
definitely using it at 3 mana, you're definitely using it at 4, you're probably using it at 5, and you can reasonably use it at 6 very late game.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the problem. Very late game when you have close to no cards in hand, you can reasonably use it at any mana cost.
Well, not any. 7 and 8, I don't see it being activated that
If you
much.
don't have any other
If you've got nothing else to play.
Yeah, sure. But
Yes,
how
that-
often do you have nothing else to play and you have good creatures in play at the same time? I mean,
it's basically
Well,
killing-
if you're both top decking,
yeah, I get, like, I'm not saying it's not gonna see play, I'm saying most of the times you're gonna see it activate about 3 times a game for 3, 4, and 5 mana.
except red that doesn't apply to red because they can just
Yeah.
reduce the skill cost of the item
Yeah.
regardless anytime they want.
Yeah.
So
Red doesn't want to play this unless they start playing Predators. And I think they have loyalty. Let me look at them.
I disagree. Because red's
Red
got
con-
stuff like
Yeah,
the
Ren
two
has...
drops, 2-drop 3/1s and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
No, they don't have loyalty. Nice. You could
Like,
actually build a red
Re-
deck with
so
the
red deck would use... Basically, there is 2 ways to break this card. You can break the increased skill cost of 1, and red is gonna be doing that, and you can break the part where your creature takes damage, which is what green is gonna be doing, and I think it's gonna be more effective for green than for red, personally.
It's like Jewel of Arena is good for blue. This will be for green.
Yeah.
Duel of Arena wasn't exactly... It was good, but it wasn't exactly overpowered. This
No.
is going to be overpowered because you
This-
get to use it more times.
This seems very scary. Like, if you thought the number of artifact hate was going down,
Yeah,
like,
just goes to go
it's just gonna go up. The thing is, it
Yeah,
dodges a lot of stuff because the red shard, it dodges that. It-
yeah, you're gonna need to play the purple shard for it.
Yeah. So it dodges surprising number of standard also, a lot of them say weapons specifically, and this is an accessory, not a weapon. So
There's gonna come a time when people are gonna stop running those crap deal damage to yourself shards, and everybody is just gonna go for the basic vanilla 4 Hand of Light in your deck. Simple as that.
yeah,
The 2-cost basic white
Yes,
thing
I'm
which
actually
kills
considering-
an item dead.
yeah.
End of.
Okay. And moving on to the final card, we have the red shard, which is called Fire Layer, and it has Burial 2, draw 1 card, and then give Rusher to target Aspire creature ally controls with level 1 or less. I would like to point out, this is the first English sentence I've ever seen that begins with a comma. I would just like to
Yeah,
bring
it
that to
is.
everyone's attention.
it's magnificently worded. It's also very, very good.
Yeah.
It's a standard shard which gives Russia. It's like
Yeah.
Land of Iron, but better.
Yeah.
Land of Iron gives you the 1 AP.
Have to attack.
Land
one.
of Iron also that makes you, I believe, discard a card.
You do 1 damage to yourself rather than discard a card.
Okay.
Yes.
But you don't draw
Yeah.
a card either.
You do.
Oh, you do?
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's got 1 damage to yourself instead of burial 2,
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
Important thing. Do you have a 2 attack, 1 health, 1 cost? Because if you don't, it's not going to be that good.
Well, you have.
Disagree. You put
you
this in
have-
a red rush. You use it on any
thing is-
number of the 1-drops the red has that are useful.
Well, actually, it's good because it doesn't deal you 1 damage like the 1/1 normal rusher does. You can
Yeah.
actually play devotees without playing that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got this now in my red rush deck, and it's great. You play.
It's better than the
Metal-
It's better than the basic shard, but probably worse than the one that deals 1 damage. It's not something like where you're gonna take out that one any place it was this.
Oh no,
Right, you
you
just
take
have both.
normal
Yeah.
like because it doesn't drawback you.
But if you combine this with the attendee, it's amazing. You get a 1/1 Defiance Rusher.
Ugh.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah. Yep. But
And
this,
just get one
at
of
least
these.
this card brings interesting like deck building considerations. It's like, how far are you willing to go to get value out of this? How many 1-drops are you actually gonna play?
Well, I think Red Rush plays enough 1-drops for it to be valuable.
Yeah, and the thing is, the drawback is that there is no drawback. You still get the 1 card, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, there is the burial and red doesn't really have so many burial effects.
But it might have some, especially now with the new, what they call it, Echo of the Fury.
Revenges, yeah.
Like, you can randomly get a couple of them in your graveyard and then just swing for 5 on turn 2 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's irrelevant really. It's a shard that gives you Russia on a
Yeah.
creature, which in itself, I mean, you can use it on something like a safeguard. And a safeguard with Russia is going to give you the extra 2 AP
Yeah,
till the end of the
basically
turn.
use Joker's strategy without Lea's flip.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, and that wraps up our color review of 3-1. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good day.